Welcome back to another edition of CFS Studios. I'm your host, Primo Galicia. I'm happy to be with you here today. If you never liked to subscribe to our show before, I ask that you do so. That way you can get the latest content as we drop it. Today on the show, we're going to talk about what is going on in the economy. Have you heard this statement? And definitely across the airways, regardless of what news you have heard, that we may see a rate cut. That's right. It is saying everywhere. The Fed's paused this September, or actually this February, this February they paused. And the problem of pause is they didn't raise rates. The Feds are still concerned. People said they were going to cut them. Well, let me just tell you some things that you need to know. In the history of America, they've never cut rates during a time where we have a border crisis, where we have an influx of new immigrants into this country that's trying to get settled in. Not only cannot cut rates, they actually would most likely have to increase rates. Because you may not realize it, but if we can kind of look at some historical data to let you see that there's never been a time in history where they were cutting rates when we had an influx of so many people crashing the U.S. system. Now, states can't even handle the burden. They're asking the federal government for more and more resources. We need money. We need money. You see a lot of even now, some of the cities, which we like to call sanctuary cities, are even complaining. Stop. Tell Gavin Newsom, he's saying, don't stop bringing them here. Yes, you guys are sanctuary city. Gavin Newsom said, bring them on here. Well, that's where you have it. At the same time, Texas is shipping people all over the U.S., all over. And in the process of this, the states and the local cities are way over budget. Now, how are they going to cut rates when we have a state that's being totally torn apart and being unstable in affect finances? I mean, with their own citizens, they're working on squeezing budgets. I mean, really tight budgets already. They're already cutting, they're raising taxes in certain states to cover those shortfalls. And in the process of that, the school boards are passing new bills so that the school can get more money. How are we are in a big inflationary period. You can't expect the feds to cut rates. I mean, until they get the border, not only within the current location of where you live, you could see inflation going up. All items, products and services are getting smaller. All food items are getting smaller. The sizes of serving size that you got before that you would pay for, regardless if it's, instant cereal or regular cereal, whether it's a bag of chips or it's a bag of peanuts. I mean, even to the point that if you pay attention, dog food, the weight of the dog food that it was before, even that's getting smaller. You got cat food, even smaller. So smaller serving size and costing more. This is going across the board. You don't think that we are sitting in a situation where we're looking at some inflation? And we have the regular inflation that takes place only in Washington, and then we also have systematic inflation, which takes place at the local level, where these businesses, in order to catch the shortfall from the revenue shortage, they increase prices themselves. That's right. That means in restaurants, and including not just the restaurants, but your local stores that when you go grocery shopping. Have you noticed that you're getting less and you're spending more money today? That's what's going on in our economy. So if you want to know, are they going to cut rates in the next month in March, maybe when they come back, the Feds talk? The answer is, in my opinion, no. See you next week.